And welcome, Mindsetters, to this session of Learn Extra for exam schools. Hope you guys are ready, you're pumped up, and you're good to go. And even before we get all that started, before we start getting to the lesson, we just want to get this done for you guys so you know. By the way, I hope you guys have been signing up on Curio because this draw is for the actual Curio winner. So make sure you guys join in if you also want to win this awesome tab. You know, it's pretty cool. Like, I've been saying that I wanted to take one home, but I was just like, you know, some job description can't really take it. But yeah, yes. So I'm gonna ask Lou, who's here with us today, who's gonna be taking us today's session, to actually draw the winner. Okay, so cool. Let's open this. Let's careful not to spill all the names. Okay, let's grab one there. That one. Alrighty. And the winner is Stanley. Congratulations, you're going to get this awesome tab sent to you. Yes, do not forget to email us at helpdesk@learnextra.co.za or win@learnextra.co.za with all your details so we can get this tab to you. But for now, we actually have a session to do. So, Lou, by the way, how are you doing?
Not too bad in yourself, huh?
Good.
Stan, congrats, but lucky you. I'd want one of those.
I also want one of those, you know? But anyway, yes, what are we doing today?
Doing some exam papers, so some questions, and trying to get some questions through from you guys. So hopefully we can get you guys going and thinking.
All right. Cool. So while you make your way across the board, Mindsetters, you know the drill. You need to get onto the Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Learn Extra. Chat to me. Let me know what you guys think. If you're lost any, if you need help, are there any sections that you're desperately trying to find answers for? Make sure you post them to me on the page. We also have our help desk available for you, helpdesk@learnextra.co.za. So make sure you just use the links. But for now, we have a session to do. So Lou, take it away.
Thanks, Tar. Hey guys, I hope you all ready and you've been studying hard because it's grade 11 and you need these marks for university. So hopefully you've been studying hard and giving it all, right? So let's start off, of course, my subject, life science. I love it to bits. We're going to start off with a couple of questions. Now, these questions might sound quite easy at times, and some might sound quite difficult. But the thing that we've picked up the most is when you get into this exam venue, right? You're nervous, you're worried, and you get your 10 minutes reading time and all of this. But guys, come, read the questions carefully. Answer the questions, right? The main thing, answer the questions, read it carefully. So if we have a look at it, right, let's get some pens out here. First thing they're looking at is a biological term. A term meaning one word, nothing else, just one word to give it. Now, as we're going through, I'm going to abbreviate, so you better be listening carefully and write down and make sure you get all the answers right. Okay, so the first question that we've got here, okay, is cells that actually make bone tissue, right? Your cells that make bone tissue. Can you actually think what that is? Okay, your osteocytes, okay, your osteocytes actually give you bone tissue. So it's your OCs, I always call them OCs in our class, okay? Your osteocytes make your bone tissues, right? And they are found inside the bone tissues, and they make more. And remember, if you don't have enough calcium, the osteocytes cannot give you new bones, which means you get a thing called osteoporosis, okay? It's a very nice thing. They always ask a question like that about osteoporosis. Right, let's have a look at it. The fluid that lubricates joints. Now, joints, the main ones we have a look at is your fixed joints, right? And we've got this thing called your synovial joints. Now, your synovial joints are your hinge joints, your ball and socket, and remember your gliding joints. And I've already given you a fluid. If you think about it, synovial joints, what fluid are we looking for? Synovial fluid, right? Your synovial fluid lubricates joints. Your joints that move are synovial joints, and they've got synovial fluid in it, so they move quite nicely, right? Very important. Synovial fluid, okay? Very easy questions, very simple. Okay, next one. The protein that forms part of the matrix of cartilage. Now, cartilage, okay? Cartilage and seed. That whole thing there. Okay, the protein, the most important part of that gives it its strength and all of that is the protein. What is the protein called? Okay, that protein is made by chondrocytes. The chondrocytes makes the protein. The protein is chondrin. Chondrin makes, the chondrin is the protein. It's made by chondrocytes, and the chondrocytes are found in the cartilage. Chondrocartilage. Okay. Very nice. So, also, chondrin, normal C. Okay? Let's put it like that, like Conan for me. Chondrocytes Very nice, guys. Okay, the valves that separate the right atrium and right ventricle. Now, right is this side. Whenever you look on a page, it always works the opposite, right? So the left's the right and the right's the left. That is what you see on a diagram in front of you. Because if I pick it up and turn it around, it looks like on me. Now, I was always, the only way I remember it is when I'm right-handed. This is how I remember it. Because I'm right-handed, my right side is always, I've realized, is the strongest, right? So if it's the strongest, it's got more, well, it's got stronger muscles. So to me, the right side has got 3, and the left side has got 2. Okay? So 3 means tri, and 2 means bi. So you get your tricuspid valves, and you get your bicuspid valves. So if you have a look at it very carefully, on the right, there it is, the right, make sure you look at right, the right side of the heart, between the atrium and the ventricle, you get stronger side, tricuspid valves. So you'll always get your tricuspid valves. Don't forget it. Tricuspid. People get confused. Remember, stronger side, 3 valves. Weaker side, 2 valves. Okay. Now, let's have a look at it. The blood vessels that transport or absorb nutrients from the small intestines to the liver. Okay? Now, you've got to remember that each little section in your body has got a specific little area. Okay? And we always known this as HPV. HPV. Now, the HPV, you always, you know, you get your HPVR and all of that, but this is HPV. Okay? Hepatic portal. Hepatic is the hepatic area. The portal means it moves, and it's in a vein. Hepatic portal vein. Okay? Nice and easy. Hepatic portal vein. That always takes from the small intestines to your liver. Okay? Hepatic portal vein. Quite easily. Remember, have a look at the carefully. When you're reading your questions, you're looking from the intestine and the liver. Okay? You don't get a hepatic portal artery. It's a hepatic portal vein. Okay, cool. So nutrients, small intestines, and liver. Keywords that you got to look for inside your questions. Okay, let's carry on. The condition resulting from a sudden shortage of oxygen in the brain. Now, a lot of you guys will, I mean, it's a big thing. Even in when I teach my boys, they always forget that this part, it means a lot of things. It could be the heart stops, okay, and it doesn't get oxygen to the brain. Or there is a clot in the one artery that doesn't allow oxygen to the brain, okay? It's anything, any way that we can stop oxygen going to the brain. That there is the condition we're looking at. And it always starts with an S, okay? Because we're not getting any blood to the heart. To the brain. Okay, no blood to the brain. And that is a, can you think of it? Todd, do you have a clue?
I've heard of it. It's a very fancy medical term.
Oh, we're having it small.
Small.
Stroke. It's a stroke. Very nice. A stroke. A stroke is what happens when we haven't got enough oxygen to the brain. Okay, so a stroke, that's oxygen and brain. Oxygen and brain, if they don't go together, it's a stroke. Okay, what happens if there's no oxygen to the heart? And I don't mean in the heart, I mean on the outside. Or the heart stops beating and all of that, it's a heart attack. Okay, let's have a look. Cancer of the white blood cells or leukocytes. Now, this is what's going to give it away. Okay, if you have a look at that there, the leukocytes actually give it away because you get there it is, and then it's leukemia. Okay, leukemia. That is the cancer that we get if you have cancer of the white blood cells or the leukocytes. Okay, white blood cells, leukocytes. Leukocytes gives it away. I'm very impressed with the answers that I'm getting. I'm sure you're writing it down there nicely. So it's leukemia. Just plain, simple, nice and easy. Right, leukemia. Next one. Pressure in the blood vessels when the heart contracts. Now, remember, when the heart contracts, you get two motions. You get distal and systole, right? It's your systolic pressure, and you get your Systolic pressure. Okay, this S, whatever it is, systolic pressure, right, is when it contracts, when it closes. So there's a lot of pressure. Okay, it's a stiff. Your veins get and your arteries get nice and stiff. It's your systolic pressure. Okay, systolic, there's a lot of pressure. Everything is nice and stiff and hard. Tense yourself. It's hard. It's stiff. That is systolic pressure. So think about it in that way. I'm trying to make it easier for you guys to remember all these things. So try remember that. If you're nice and stiff and nice and hard, your muscles are hard, they're all stiff. That is systolic pressure when it's stiff. Okay, very nice. Now, if I have a look, I'll move it up so that we can see it. Oh, that was a little bit too much. Okay, there we go. The releasing of droplets of water from tiny pores on the outside of leaves. Okay, now, a lot of you are going to come, this is very, very simple. Most of you, if I'm not mistaken, because my boys would do this, okay, that guy would jump up and put up his hand and say, sir, that is transpiration. And I'm going to be jumping up and down on my desk and going crazy and say, no, you're wrong, because that is completely wrong. Transpiration comes from the bottom of the leaves, out the stomatas, or sometimes out of the top of the leaves, if it's, for example, like on your water lilies and that way. It's got a lot of water, so it's going to come out a lot of stomatas out the top of the leaf. But this here's the key things, okay? Releasing droplets, I'm not even worried about that. Tiny pores on the leaf margin. On the leaf margin. On the leaf margin, sometimes you get water droplets coming out the sides, okay? That is not your stomata. Those are tiny little pores, just little holes in the side, okay? That there is guttation. So it's guttation, okay? It's guttation out the margins of the leaf, okay? Very important to remember that. Guttation, margins of leaf, so on the outside, okay? So if I have, let's just put this leaf over there. Okay, there it is. Now, this here, there's the leaf. If I do that, that's the margin of the leaf. Nice and flat part. Okay, that is your margin of your leaf. Okay, now, the next questions. These questions people get very confused with. This is not a guess question. Okay, this question is actually very important. You've got the answer there in front of you. You have to know your stuff. It's no longer match column A with column B. This has become more difficult. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Even before, the instructions is, it can either be A only, or it can be B only, or it can be A and B, so you'll see A and B, or nothing, or none. Okay, so you can, these are the four answers you can get. It's A, it's B, it's A and B, or it's none. So they're busy tricking you here. Okay, so let's have a look at the first thing. Okay, the tissue that transports organic food in the plant. Now, we're either going to get two, phloem or xylem. Phloem or xylem. Now, let's see. Phloem and xylem. There they are. Okay, cool. We're all happy with that. But which one does food? Which one does water? That's the main key. So let's have a look at it. Xylem, my knowledge, is water. And phloem for food, so it would be B. So the first one, the answer would be B. Oh, that was terrible. Let me just erase that quickly so that we can actually write it properly. Okay, it's B. Plain and simple. Okay, let's look at the opening at the base of the skull through which the spinal cord passes. Now, that's like right up here somewhere, right? So if that's my head, there's the spine, it goes in there. Now, let's have a look at it. The orbit, no, doesn't work for me. The Foramen Magnum, there we go. It's a Foramen Magnum, so it's automatically B as well. These are things you've got to know. You have to know your definitions. Very important. And guys, you will be getting this, so know it. This is the new way of putting them, so they will be giving it to you. So you must know how to do it. Okay, the types of joint between the axle and the atlas. What type of joint do we find there? Is it a hinge joint or is it a gliding joint? It's not one of them. Okay, so it's none. Very simple, none. You need to find out what you need to find out what the gliding joints are. It's normally in your tarsals and metatarsals, right? And your hinge joint in your elbows. Okay, so it's none. Look at the next one. The liquid that surrounds the cells of the body, okay, not in the veins. So can it be blood? No. It is tissue fluid. So it's tissue fluid, so it is B. Okay, now, write these two down for me quickly. It is the tissues that are inside the blood vessels, okay, and the next one, I want to know the region of the kidney in which the Malpighian body are located. Now, while you write that down, I want you guys to have a look at that, and in 2 minutes, when I get back, see if you're right. Okay, have a quick break, have something to drink, and I'll see you in a few seconds or so.
All right, so mindsetters, do not disappear. Make sure you keep chatting to us, keep using the page, keep chatting to us. Let us know what you guys are thinking. If you're lost in, if you need help, if there's sections that you're dying to find out about, post them on the Facebook page. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far, so keep on using the page. And I'll be posting up all of these questions for you guys so you can follow with us. But for now, we'll see you after this break. And welcome back, mindsetters. Hope you had a nice little break there. You went to do whatever you had to do. Now you're back, you're ready, and you're going to be posting on the page, letting us know where you're at, where you're thinking of, what you're dying to find out about. So make sure you keep posting on the page. Talk to me so I can talk to Lou so we can help you guys out, because that's what we're trying to do. We can't read your mind through the camera. So make sure you talk to us. Post on the page and help yourselves out. But for now, we have a session to do. So Lou, take it away.
Thanks, Tom. Listen, guys, I know abbreviation is coming through a lot. I abbreviate so that we can get through it as quick as possible so that you can understand it. So while I'm busy saying a word, try and write it down. It's very good to remember it, right? Write it down and get the spelling as quick as possible. But also remember that you cannot abbreviate mostly in exams. Okay, you got to do, for example, if we're looking at cells, we're looking at the endoplasmic reticulum. You got to write endoplasmic reticulum and then ER, and then you can write ER for the rest as long so they know what you're talking about. Okay, but before we had the break, I asked you two questions. Okay, what is the tissue that lines the blood vessels? Okay, the tissue that lines the blood vessels. Okay, it's either endothelium or epithelium. And the second one was the region of the kidney where we'll find the Malpighian body located. And I said it's either the cortex or the medulla. Okay, let's have a look at it. Endo meaning inside, that's right where the blood is coming from. And epithelial is outside of the body. So which one do you think it is? Has to be A. Okay, I need to put some pen there. It has to be A. This is how you answer this question, by the way. Okay, you're going to have it on the side, B, B, none, B, A. And of course, the last one, the Malpighian body is found outside of the medulla. It's not found on the inside, so it has to be in the cortex. So it is A again. Nice and easy. If you've got that, you guys are looking very good. And the kidney's quite difficult at times. So you're getting there slowly but surely. I'm very impressed. Right. Now, let's have a look at the next thing. Now, this is quite a strange thing. Okay? What they've done is they've given you a couple of pictures. So the diagrams below illustrate 4 different medical procedures performed in a certain way. Right? And they give you this whole thing and they say just answer the questions that follow. So let's have a look at these different procedures. Okay, I'm going to take it up to about there. And they've given you this one, that one, and that one. There's the 4. Very easy. Now, the first question, and now I'm going to bring it back, is they say to me, name all the medical procedures illustrated, right, above, next to each diagram. Just in other words, what is happening there? What is the point of these things? Now, let's have a look at the first one. First one, they used a nice big thing. What they do is they take your vein that is blocked. As you can see, you've got your vein or your artery running over there, and then you've got this thick stuff over here, okay, which is called cholesterol, right? And it's starting to block. And the guys can't breathe properly, you can't get oxygen, the blood pressure starts rising badly, and so on. So what actually happens is they put this big thing in here, okay? They call it a stent, right? They put the stent into there, then just inside the stent, they've got this thing called a balloon, okay? And they pump oxygen into that balloon, and they make it nice and fat, and it crushes all this cartilage. It makes the cartilage go flat, right? There it is. It makes it go flat, and then they remove the balloon. And if they remove the balloon, the stent stays there, and it's nice and open again, okay? Now, the nice thing is, with this, the name of this thing is called angio, so it's the A. It's angioplasty. angioplastic. Okay, it's your angioplastic. Plastic, because if we look at the balloon, it's got plastic in it. Okay, and the angio, well, that's the way I remember it. Angioplastic. Okay, me, angioplastic, and I've put it down nicely for you. You guys can remember it. Now, let's have a look at the next one. The part that they're looking at is this piece here. Okay? Now, that piece there is called a specific thing. Okay? That piece, you see the blockages over here. That's where they're showing you. That's where the blockage is. And now they're going to take from there and take it all the way across there. I don't know why this is jumping crazy today, but it is. We'll get it right. Okay? And because they need to get that oxygen to this part over here, and that thing's blocked, we need to fix it. So what do? We stop the blood from going through there, through this piece here, and we make it go from here, so it's called a bypass. We're bypassing that section, okay? It's called a bypass. If we can't get the angioplastic done right, then we go to a bypass. The next thing, if you have a look at it, we're taking the blood from the vein or the artery, right, and we're putting it into this big machine that does something and then back in. This here, right, cleans the blood. It's called a dialysis machine. This is an external man-made kidney. Plain simple. We're cleaning the blood. It's called the dialysis. Okay, very nice. And the last one, if I have a look at this, when they show you photos of the heart, okay, they never show you this thing called the pacemaker. There it is. So this part, this operation is putting in a pacemaker. Now, a pacemaker does a specific thing, okay? It actually it tells the heart, beat, 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 okay? It's like somebody standing there with you got to keep jumping, and if you don't jump, they're going to prick you with a pin, okay? That's its job. Jump, 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 jump. Do you understand? That's what a pacemaker does. Okay, so now we've identified everything. Remember, that's a angioplastic. This one is a bypass, this one is a dialysis, and this one is a making of a pacemaker or putting a pacemaker in. Very nice. Now, let's see. That was the diagram numbered 1 to 4. Let's have a look at the next one. Same diagram. Okay, they haven't changed anything. Let's have a look. It says, what health issues are expected to be resolved by performing the above medical procedures? Okay, so let's start off with the top one. Okay, when you go for this, you get before you go for this, you get a certain disease, okay, in each one of these. Now, they want to know why they do it to stop this disease. They want to know what are these diseases, okay? The first one, this one here, where we get rid of the cartilage, we get rid of the what is that word again?
The
cholesterol. That's the word.
Yes. I also just went blank. I was like, wait, I know this one.
It's normally like that. See, even we get there sometimes. So to open it up so that the blood can flow through again, okay, if this doesn't happen, if we're closing it, okay, it's called, just write it, I'm just going to put it's called thrombosis, okay, thrombosis. Write it down quickly so you don't forget it. Thrombosis. There we go. So the first thing that we're stopping in this part is thrombosis. Very nice. Now, let's look at the next one. Okay, the bypass. Why do we want a bypass? Now, if you look at it, the bypass, we're always doing it at the coronary arteries. Those are the arteries that are at the heart, right above the heart. Because remember that blood comes in and it leaves the heart, deoxygenated blood, and oxygenated blood comes to the heart and leaves the heart again. But not once during that whole process do we actually give the heart oxygen for itself to make the energy or to keep it alive, right? So we need, as it pumps out, we need to send stuff to the outside of the heart so that it gives it its nutrients and its oxygen in that, right? So these things get blocked up very quickly. When they block up, we need to stop it from blocking up, otherwise you start going through heart attacks and that, right? So we do a bypass. But before we do a bypass, we first start with this one. We first try this. If that one doesn't work, or if this procedure is too bad, what do? we go through a bypass where they take a vein and they make an artery, and they make a new artery for you, and they bypass that specific section. Okay, so that is what we call a bypass. What are we stopping? We're plotting a new route for the blood to run. Okay, that is the whole point of it. The next one, dialysis. What are we doing? I've already mentioned it. Okay, this is to clean your blood. Now remember, your kidney is very, very important. If you do not clean your blood becomes poisonous, all the toxin and all the rubbish in there, right? So as soon as your kidneys start fading or dying or whatever, you need to get your blood cleaned. Okay? Now, the cleaning of the blood, if your kidneys can't do it, we can do it for you. The problem is it doesn't work so nicely. That means you've got to go in once a week, twice a week, and actually go and get your blood cleaned. So they stick a needle in you, and they take all your blood out, it goes through a machine, and it comes back in nice and clean. But can you imagine how long that must take? It takes a couple of hours, okay, to get everything done and nice and clean and sorted. Okay, so that there is to clean your blood. Very nice. Next one, pacemaker. What does a pacemaker do? Okay, the pacemaker regulates the heartbeat. So when you've got when your heartbeat goes fast and then slow, and then fast and then slow, or very slow and then very fast and a little bit, and then very fast and very slow, it jumps around. It's unstable. Okay, what do? They say that your pacemaker's broken, so they put in an automatic pacemaker, and that pacemaker regulates your heartbeat. So when your heartbeat is irregular, it is irregular. When it's irregular, what happens? They put one in, and it tells your heart how to beat and how fast to beat and why it must beat like that. Okay, that is your pacemaker. We can put in a little machine that does it, but your heart's already got one. Okay, so when ours is damaged, the pacemaker is what we need. Okay, next one. Still the same picture. This is very nice. We're getting there. We're starting to learn all these nice big answers. Okay, the next one. The medical procedure performed in diagram 3. So let's find diagram 3. Diagram 3, there it is. Okay, your diagram 3. It says the medical is not a permanent solution. Okay, because we can try and keep you alive as long as possible. First of all, it is very expensive. Second of all, it takes a lot of time. And thirdly, you're very tired afterwards. Okay, if you've got to clean all your blood and you've poisoned your body quite a bit, you start getting tired and droopy and everything, right? If you go to get your blood cleaned, you feel better, but your body's drained because it had to live with all that rubbish, okay? Because you're building it up. You're going once a week or twice a week and you're cleaning it off. The only way that we can prevent this is by putting new kidneys in. We need to put these things back into our body. We need to make the little ones that we've got in our body. So if our kidneys are not working, while they put you on the transplant list, right, they clean your body. They clean your blood. But as soon as it's available, you go and get a transplant. So the only thing that helps, the ultimate procedure to resolve this whole thing is by putting your body, okay, it's by putting new kidneys inside. So it's a kidney transplant. See how easy it is? Read your questions, and you can do this. It's very, very simple. 1 mark, simple question, very nice, and it's very easy to answer. So it's a kidney transplant. A kidney transplant. Don't forget, transplant means putting somebody else's kidney or another kidney inside you. They're transplanting it from one person to the other. Okay. Now, let's have a look at the next one. We're going on to the next part, which is grafts. Now, grafts is part of life science. We have to know life science. We have to know how to read grafts. We need to know what is going on in grafts. And it's very important because they keep asking grafts. And a lot of people get very confused with grafts. You need to know the difference between things like a histogram, what a bar graph is. Okay? You need to know a pie chart. Okay? You might not have learnt it. And math students, I asked my boys, how do you do a pie graph? You don't know. Maths lit students, you know how to do a pie graph. Okay, so make sure you remember, math students, go ask your buddies that do maths lit how to do a pie chart. Okay, so let me get back there. You get a line graph, you get a histogram, and you get a bar graph. Okay, now when they say to you, do a bar graph, please, you need to know what a bar graph is. You need to know what a histogram is. So if I'm going to, before I even have a look at this, I just want you to have a look. This here is a histogram. Okay? That there, you see how they joined. If I had a look at I don't know how I'm going to show you, but if I did that, okay, that is a histogram. The next part, that is a histogram, that is a histogram. But because there's a space between them, it becomes a bar graph. Okay, so think about this carefully. This is 3 bars or 3 bar graphs on the same set of axes. That's what that tells me. It's a bar graph because it's standing separately from each other, okay, and it's identifying 3 different places. So we've got Canada, UK, Singapore, and South Africa. Okay, so each one of them is separate. It's a bar graph, even though they're joining together. Histogram, if it was only South Africa and they said a bar graph, each one of them would be separate. But because we're doing all the difference, this is 3 sets of bar graphs on 1 set of axes. I hope that's making sense. Don't get confused between a bar graph, a histogram, line graph, and a pie chart. Okay, so before we go on to this question, I just wanted to show you all of that. We're going to take a short break, and I will see you straight afterwards. Ta.
All right, so mindsetters, don't disappear. Make sure you stick around, as I keep saying. Don't wander off too far. Make sure you come back because we have a session to do, and we want you guys to pass your exams. And keep on posting, guys. I'm loving all the comments, all the posts. Thank you so much for keeping on posting. And yes, I've also added on all these questions on that page. So make sure you look out for that and follow along with us. But for now, we'll see you after this break. And welcome back, Mindsetters. Hope you had a nice little break there. Now you're back, you're ready, and you're good to go. Make sure you keep on sending us your questions, letting us know what you guys think. If you lost any, if you need help, you know what we're about here. Team, work, smart. You know what to do. So make sure to talk to us to help yourselves out. And on that note, actually, we had a question that came in from Takalani. He wanted to know, why are the top chamber walls thicker than the bottom chamber walls?
Other way around.
Oh, the other way around. Yeah, sorry about that.
There we go. So it was a nice way of looking at it. I know we're struggling with big words. So if we have a look at it, the question is, and I'll put it in the right ways. So it says the top chambers of the heart are thinner walls than the bottom chambers of the heart. Now, he didn't ask it like that. He asked, why is the walls of the atrium much thinner than the walls of the ventricles? Okay, now let's have a look at it. The atrium, let me pull this all the way down so we've got some space. If we have a look at the heart. Now, the heart is, I'm just going to, come on, let's get some life going here. Let's put the heart like that. I'm just going to make it a big ball. Okay, simple big ball. Now, that is divided into 4 sections. Okay, very simple. That is what the heart looks like roundabout. Okay, now, if I have a look at it, blood is going to come in to this one. Cool. Then it's going to go into this one. And from here, it's going to be pumped up and out of the heart again. Right. This one is going to come into here. It's going to be pumped into there. And it's going to be pumped out to the rest of the body. Plain and simple. Now, I know the drawing of the heart isn't right, but have a look at it very carefully. How far does the top, or should I say the atrium? Atrium is first. A before V. Okay? A at the top, V at the bottom. Okay? The atrium walls, why are they thinner? How far or how hard do they have to pump to get the blood down to the next one? So they have to pump a distance, right? A distance from there to there. That's the distance it has to travel. Nowhere else. Nice and small. Okay? The ventricles, where do they have to pump? These ventricles have to pump from here all the way to there, and from here all the way up to here. Okay? Have you seen the big difference? My heart is over here. The atriums pump from here to here. Okay? I know it's more this way, but from here to here. That's it. The ventricles pump from here right down to the toes, right up to the head. Okay? And the further it's got to pump, the harder the walls must be. Okay? The more it must contract. The walls are muscles. The muscles contract. The bigger the muscles are, the stronger they are, the harder they can contract. The harder they contract, the further the blood goes. Hope that's answered your question. Okay, so if I had a good look at it, it should be like this. There's your heart, and it goes thin walls, thick walls, thin walls, Do you understand how it works? These muscles are going to pump it further. These muscles only have to pump it down. Hopefully that's made it. That was Takalati, hey?
Takalani.
Takalani, that's it. So hopefully I've answered your question and you can get it on, and don't stress about it. Hopefully that's helped you, okay? One's got to pump it further than the others. Okay, now, before we went on a break, we had a look at this little thing here. Okay, now it says the age distribution death rate from heart disease. So first of all, we're looking at heart disease, and it's in India, the Indian men, okay, per 100,000 per year, compared to the ethnic groups of Canada, the UK, Singapore, and South Africa. Okay, now before we go any further, have a good look. Okay, they're all the same. It's IWC. Let's see what R stands for. Okay, I is the Indians. Okay, W is white. C stands for, let's go for C, Chinese. Okay, B stands for, let's get it. I'm sure there's a B here somewhere there, black. And of course, C is the same. So we're having a look at the same things. The only difference is we have over here in Singapore, we have Malaysians. Okay, so all three of them are the same. The only difference is in Canada, we've got Chinese. In the UK, we've got blacks. In Singapore, we have Malaysian. And South Africa, we have black. Simple. The rest are all the same. Indian, 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 Indian. White, white, white. White, white. And C is your Chinese. Okay, so this simple. Now, just by having a look at that, which group, all in all, is the highest? Okay, I'm not even looking at questions. Let's have a look. I is the highest. So if we put it there, just I, just so it reminds us. Okay, look here. I as well. Okay, we look at the next one, I as well. And we look at the next one, I as well. Now, that's a bit of a problem. So to me, Indian throughout this whole thing has got the highest. Okay? Let's have a look at it. White is the second. White is the second. White is the second. So the whites also die a lot from heart disease. Okay? If we have a look at the Chinese, there's a Chinese and there's a Chinese. And if we have a look at it, the Chinese in Canada, so the Chinese in Canada, the blacks in Canada, and the Chinese in Singapore are all on a similar basis. Okay, so they're not that bad. They do die of it, but not as big as the rest. I mean, the whites and the Indians, we go mad, right? And of course, the Malaysians are the same as the whites. There's the Malaysians, as I was looking. And then, of course, the blacks in Africa, very low. Very, very low. That's nice, right? We're keeping it strong in Africa. I like that. It's simple. Okay, so there we go. We've just had a look round about what it's like, and I've put this up here for a reason. I put the letters up there for a reason because you can see exactly. There's two ways. So I'm seeing which is the tallest, and I've already got the initial up at the top so that I don't get confused. Okay, I know it sounds stupid, but give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. Okay, let's have a look. It says, first question, which population group is more prone to heart disease than any other ethnic group survey in the research above? Come on. We've had a look at it. We started off. That was even before we had a look at questions. What would it be? Okay, it's very simple. It's all the eyes. What are the eyes? They are Indian. Okay, the eyes are the Indians, so it's very simple. You have your Indians. Okay, your Indians are the ones that die from the most heart problems. Okay, now, that was nice and easy. Okay, so let's carry on. Okay, that was how much? 1 mark, very simple. Okay, mention any 2 possible risk factors which contribute to heart disease. Now, here we go. There's more than 2. There's like thousands. Okay, it's very simple. Let's look at the most common one that we all tell our dads, we all tell our moms, we all tell everybody, smoking. Hey, Ta? Smoking is the first one, cause heart disease. What about unhealthy food? Okay, we go to McDonald's, we go to KFC, we go all over the place. Now that's you can get it healthy. It's just the oil, okay? Bad oils are bad for you, Okay? All these things, we need to keep it nice and fresh. I'm not saying you must never go there. No. You got to treat yourself now and then. You have to. Okay? That's what you laugh about humans. But you can't stay there all the time. Okay? So we've got that. We've got stress. Okay? Stress is very bad. So the more you stress, the worse it becomes. So don't stress too much about your exams. But how do you stop stressing? Learn. There we go. Nice way of looking at it. Okay? Then we have a look at high blood pressure. Okay? If you are unhealthy and unfit and don't do like slight runs and sit on the couch all the time and only watch TV, it's bad for you. Okay? There's a lot of things. All the different things that lead to this part, heart, is when you don't exercise your heart. Think about it very carefully. If you over-exercise, you get a bad heart. If you under-exercise, you get a bad heart. Okay, it's quite strange. Think about it. A heart is a muscle, and the more effort you put into that muscle, if it gets too strong, it's bad for you. Okay, so you don't want to kill yourself. You don't want to go and run 10 times a day. Every time you see, you want to go and run, and you push and you push and you push, and then you start sticking in things like steroids. Steroids is bad for you as well while you're doing this. Okay, so we're looking at all the things that are unhealthy. Unhealthy food, right? Smoking, high cholesterol. We're looking at bad food. We're looking at malnutrition. All the stuff where you don't get your nutrients to look after your heart, that can cause a heart disease or a heart attack or whatever we need. Okay, those are very nice. Simple things. Okay, very easy. Now, let's have a look at the next one. Oh, that's the one I showed you. Okay, carry on. Okay, right from the beginning, what do I do if I see it? Please, guys, do this. I always do this because you can get confused. So we get from the top, you get I, W, C, I, W, B, and then you get an I, C, M, and you get an I, W, B. Okay? Simple. I do that for a reason because I can't mess it up. Okay, let's see. The next question. According to the survey, which population group shows the lowest incident of deaths for heart disease? Have a look at that. You can't miss it out. It's African black guys. How cool is that, hey? It doesn't help me, though. I'm one of the white guys. Doesn't help me. And I exercise every day. Okay? So, there it is. Plain and simple. I can see it. Okay? African, South African, and it's South African. Okay? The answer is South African blacks. They are the healthiest or the most perfect with their heart. Can you think why? Okay? Have a look at it. Their food mostly is very good. Okay? Very, very good food. They're always working hard. Okay? So they work hard, they're strong, they're solid, right? They look after themselves very nice. Some of us white guys, we sit around, don't do anything. Okay? Black guys, physically strong, hard labor, and that's what keeps them strong and fit and their heart going. Their heart is moving, their heart is doing exercises, they're doing it perfectly, perfectly fine. Okay, so it's a very good sign. Very good sign that you got that everybody is getting going and making nicely. The black guys work very hard, sometimes sitting behind a desk all day. You've got to get up and go do some work. Don't sit on a desk all day. Sit, get up, go home at the end, go to gym, take a run, do something, but you've got to get your exercise. And stress is very important. Get rid of stress. Right. Let's see. Next one. Name the heart muscle. This is difficult. Name the heart muscle that becomes damaged and non-functional during cardiac arrest. Okay? Supply a possible reason for your answer. Let's see. Heart muscles. Now we have a heart, and we know that it's got 4 chambers, and let's see, we've got the arteries coming out, and we've got the veins coming in, but that's got nothing to do with muscles. Okay? What type of muscles do we get? Okay? They said, yeah, just look carefully. Okay? Name the heart muscle. The heart muscle. Now, yes, we get a couple of types of muscles. We get cardiac muscle. We get striated muscle. We get smooth muscle. Now, your smooth muscle is involuntary, right? It's involuntary. So you cannot control it. Okay? If you have a look at it, you get your striated muscle. Those are voluntary. That's your biceps and your leg muscles and all of those muscles, your stomach muscles, your chest muscles, right? You can control them all. Now, between the two of them, the striated muscles, right, is a nice, strong muscle. Your smooth muscles is strong, but not that strong. They do things like peristalsis. Now, peristalsis, can you explain peristalsis? Okay, it's not this. I keep saying this because people always say, I ask my boys, what is peristalsis? They say it's this. No, that's not peristalsis. That's your fingers moving. Okay? Peristalsis is the movement where muscles contract while others relax. And when the food goes past, the new muscles contract and the other ones relax. Okay? That is peristalsis. You don't tell yourself to swallow and think, swallow food, peristalsis, here we go. You don't. Your muscles, smooth muscles, are simple. You do not think about them. They're involuntary. Then you get your striated muscles, which are stronger. They are voluntary. Okay? And your cardiac muscle, believe it or not, needs to be strong, right? And they don't want you to think about it. Can you imagine every day thinking beat, 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 beat? And the more you run, you go play rugby, you go play netball, you go play hockey, and the faster you run, the quicker you got to think beat, 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 beat. You're going to forget, you're going to die.
That would be very inconvenient.
Can you imagine? We're dribbling beat, 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 beat. Oh, there comes a guy, beat. Simple. Very simple. It's not going to work for me, right? So it has to be, you cannot control it. You shouldn't be thinking about it, okay? So it needs to be striated muscle. But it needs to be strong because it's got to get the blood everyone. So it's got to be smooth muscle. It's got to be strong, so it's got to be striated muscle. So now we have a problem. So what do? Combine them. Simple. Your cardiac muscle is combined. So let's see. The muscle that we're going to damage is the cardiac muscle. Remember, the heart is one big muscle. It's the cardiac muscle, right? And what is it going to stop? What are we not going to have? Oxygen or food. Your nutrients. If we starve it from that, the heart's not going to do very nicely. Right. I leave you there for a while. Going to go have a quick break, have a cup of coffee, get a cup of tea, some water, whatever, and I'll see you straight after the break. Ta.
All right, so mindsetters, as I've been saying before, do not disappear. Make sure you stick around. Keep on posting to me. I just want to say thank you so much, you guys. Awesome stuff. Help yourselves out by talking to us so you can pass those exams. And you know what it is? Teamwork smart. So for now, we'll see you after this break. And welcome back, mindsetters. Hope you had a nice little break there. Now you're back, you're ready, you're geared up, and you've got your 3 Ps with you, your pens, your pads, and your phone, so you can make sure that you're talking to us while you're writing down your notes so you guys can get all the best out of the session, so you can make sure that you're nice, ready for your paper. So when you get in there, it's not one of those, oh my goodness, what am I going to write next? You just get in there and be like, right, we did this already, so time to smash this paper because we want you guys to pass. And don't forget, mindsetters, we're literally 8 people away from the next level. So you need to tell your friends, to tell their friends, to tell their friends to get on the page. Help them out because you guys are going to be the mindsetters for next year. So make sure grade 12s tell the grade 11s. 11s tell the grade 10s. Grade 10s tell the grade 9s. And the grade 9s tell the grade 10s to tell the grade 11s to tell the grade 12s to do the same thing. All right? But for now, we have a session to do. So, Lou, take it away.
That was hell of a confusing.
Yeah, I know, but it works. You get it.
And if you're in grade 10, learn about grade 11 work now already. Trust me, it makes it easier. Makes it so much easier. Now, I'm starting there, but I know there's a couple of questions. So, Ta, what do you have there for me?
Well, Morris wanted to find out, describe the roles of the nucleus in the protein synthesis.
Okay, now, this is grade 11, okay? I can give it all to you. I can tell you that there's things called you get your DNA and you get your RNA and you go to ribosomal RNA and you get your messenger RNA and you get this transcription and all. You don't need to know this, my boy or girl. Is it a boy or girl?
Boy.
It's a boy. Okay, you don't have to know this. Okay, so don't stress about the nucleus during protein synthesis. Okay, if we're having a look at all of this, just relax. We'll organize it all later for next year. Please don't stress about that. So I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to confuse you. Okay, another one.
Yes, we had one coming from Musa. She wanted to find out what is meant by the coronary circuit.
Okay, coronary circuit, it's very simple. It comes from the heart. Remember, it comes from the left atrium, okay, down into the left ventricle, gets pumped out, and as it gets pumped out, some of the arteries go straight to the heart, okay? Give the heart its oxygen and its minerals and all of that, and then from the heart, straight back into the heart, into the right ventricle. Right atrium, right at the top. That is the coronary system. It's right here. It goes nowhere. It's like quick. 100%. It doesn't go right around the whole body. It goes from the heart, out to the outside of the heart, back to the inside of the heart. Okay, hopefully that helped you. Hey, what did you think? Do you think that I explained that quite nicely for you?
Yeah.
Cool.
We just had one more comment from Difulwane.
Sure.
He just wanted to say, Ty, please tell Lou that his passion for teaching motivates me for my paper on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, that makes me feel so nice. Oh,
See,
thank
now
you.
all warm and fuzzy
Oh,
inside.
yeah, I can just see. Me, I love kids for some reason. I love the guys and girls and everyone. Kids are awesome, right? Now, let's carry on from here. Now, what I'm going to have a look at, there it is. There we go. Okay. We're going to start. See how big this is, okay? Look at the following diagram of the human pelvis, right? And answer the questions that follow. Now, that's just what it says. Okay, so look at picture. There it is. Answer question. Let's have a look. Label part A and D. A, there it is. And D, here it is. Now, you won't believe it that I love these two bones. Don't ask me why. I love them because they have funny names. Okay? They really do. If we have a look at it, we have the first one, which is at the top here. Okay? It's me and this pen today. Okay? Let's go back. I'm going to write from the top. Let's go here. You get the I. That's the first one, the ilium. It's this top piece, this piece here. Yeah, you know what I mean? The top, the back piece, okay? The back piece here somewhere, okay? And then you get these little round bobbies here, okay? These things are the things that you sit on, okay? This is cool. This is a cool name. This is my favorite, okay? That's an I. It's called your ischium. So you get your ilium and you get your ischium. Okay? S right at the bottom, L closer to the top. Okay? So you get the ilium right at the top and you get the ischium right at the bottom. Okay? And some clown is going to say to you one day, what's the ischial tuberosity? And you're going to tell him it's the tuberosity, so where the bones join, near the ischium. Nice and easy. Even though it's a nice big word, it makes it so much easier to understand. Okay, so let's have a look at that. First question, of course, was label A and D. We've done it, okay? And second question, what type of joint are found in parts labeled B, C, respectively? So let's see. Where's B and C? Okay, so what is the joint of this piece and this piece? They want to know what joint this is. Now, oh, that looks terrible. Let me get a nice pen there. What joint this is. There we go. Okay, now, have you ever thought you could move your iliums? So they're like this, right? And move them. Okay, try get your whole hip to come up like this. Can you do it? Or you know, you swing the whole hip. You don't do the whole inside piece. Not going to work, right? So this piece here does not move. So it's an immovable joint. How nice is that? It doesn't move. Okay, can you give me another easy immovable joint? Okay, it's up here. So those little cracks in your skull, what are they called? Your sutures. Sutures are an immovable joint. They cannot move. Okay, just remember that. So that's what that joint is called. The question was, what type of joint is it? It's an immovable joint. Immovable, doesn't move. Nice. Now, same thing. Let's carry on going down. They've made these pictures so nice and big so that you can see. It's cool. Give one difference between the joint at C, okay, the joint at C, and the similar joint at the pectoral girdle. Now, that joint at, joint at C, okay, and the one at the pelvic girdle. Now, what's that? Come here, big man.
Alrighty.
Okay, so now, the pectoral girdle, sorry, I'm taking over here. Pectoral girdle, pecs, nice and strong, and the girdle is this whole piece here, right? So it's the bones over here. Now, yes, I'm sure I'm making you laugh inside, but this is the part that we're looking at. Pectoral girdle, this top piece here, and we're looking at C. Thanks, Tal. Appreciate it.
Alrighty.
Okay, so we're having a look at this joint down here and this joint up here, this pectoral joint, right? Now, what is the difference between up here, which is these small bones, one going inside another, and these big bones, one inside the other? Can you tell me the difference? It's very simple. This one has a nice deep joint, okay? It goes in nice and deep, where the top one doesn't, okay? So this has got a deeper joint. The other one has a more out of a joint, okay? This part here, if you have a look at your dogs, when they get these, what are they called? I'm trying to think of the word now. I'll get to it. When they get that certain disease, their joint is not as deep, so that their bone keeps popping out. Okay, that's when your dogs are very, very purebred. It gets those diseases. I'll think of the disease just now. Just give me a few minutes to think about it. Okay, and the next one, in the middle ages of older women, the part labeled A gradually becomes porous and fragile. Okay, let's see where A is. Of course, it's the Ischium, the Ilium, right? Gets porous and fragile. Name this condition. Okay, now, I mentioned this condition right in the beginning. Can you remember it? Okay, what makes bone tissues? Okay, and it makes it, there's the big word. Come on. The big word is porous. So we're looking at two words. Okay, it's actually one, but porous and what makes bones in, what makes bones? Okay, bones are made from can you remember?
Calcium.
Okay, calcium gets used to make bones, yes. What makes the bones? It's found inside bones.
Marrow?
Not marrow.
I'm so off today.
So off today, but we'll get there, Okay, it's your chondrocytes are found in your connective tissue, or your what's it? So I'm trying to think now. It's I'm trying to think of that word now. Come on.
Cartilage?
No, I'm trying to think of it. It'll come to me in a few seconds. Let's have a look. Porous. Give me 2 seconds. I'll come back to you. While I'm going, I want you to teach you some more. So I'll come back to that question in 2 seconds. Give me a break. Let's have a look at this. The next question. These have got to do with roots and stems and leaves. Okay? Now, let's have a look at this. A pupil in a high school conducts an experiment. Okay? The whole point of this whole thing is says he's looking at transpiration of water in plants. Okay? And the experiment is shown in the diagrams below. And 3 hours later, remember it's 3 hours, so he's got a time limit for you. Okay? And he looks at how much is transpired. Okay? And the parts labeled A and B are carefully observed. The tissue through the microscopes, yada, yada, yada. So what he's done is he's had a look through a microscope. He's made this whole experiment go through, and he has a look at a microscope, and he actually decides what is actually happening here. The most important thing in this whole experiment, okay, is this. Find out the tissues. So he's looking at what tissues, or the conducted, or he has conducted experiment, what tissues are responsible, okay, for the transport of water. So what tissues are responsible for the transport of water? Now, we've gone through this question already, okay? Think about it carefully. It was one of those questions right on there. What takes water? What takes food? Remember that. We're looking at xylem and phloem. Okay, so let's have a look at this. There we go. There's the pictures. If you can have a look at this, there's the whole plant. He's taken this diagram, and he's taken this diagram. Now, I'm not going to tell you what these two diagrams are. You've got to know them off by heart, like this. Okay? There's things in this one that this one will never have, and there's things in this one that this one will never have. Okay? Now, let's have a look. What is the first question? Formulate appropriate hypothesis for this experiment. formulate a hypothesis. Now, what is a hypothesis? Everybody gets confused with a hypothesis. A hypothesis is stating a fact. It's not we are trying to do this, or we might get this done, or we should get this done. It is we are going to get this done. Simple. Okay? So let's have a look at it. What is he doing? He's testing which tissue makes sure that water goes from the bottom to the top. Okay? So this is your answer. It's very, very simple. It's this tissue takes water to the top of the plant. Or this tissue moves water to the top of the plant. Or this tissue does not take water to the top of the plant. Are you understanding what I'm getting at? It's a fact. So put in the tissue's names that you know of. So it is xylem will take water, will transport water to the top of the plants. Or transport water from the roots to the stem. Or xylem will not transport water from the root to the stem. Or phloem will take water from the roots to the stem. Or phloem will not take water from the roots to the stem. If you notice how I've given facts, it doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong. Okay? It is a fact. I'm doing this. Okay? At the end, you can say, okay, my fact was wrong. Okay, so let's have a look at this. That was the first one. So did you get it? My hypothesis for this would be, it's very simple, xylem transports water from the roots to the stem. There we go. Xylem transports water from the roots to the stem. Nice. Cool. Now, next one. Supply 2 steps to consider during planning stage this investigation. Okay, so now let's have a look at it. How are we going to get this investigation to go through and go mad and go crazy? So how are we going to make sure it's right? First of all, it's pointless me grabbing a tree from outside and sticking it into a big jug of water. Not going to work. So first of all, you've got to get small plants. Young plants, should I say. Young plants, because they've got more vibrant and they want to do more. Okay? Young plants, first of all. Second of all, we've got to have a look. If I've cut off the roots or damaged the roots, it's not going to suck up water. It's going to be pointless. Okay? Has to be able to suck up water. Okay? Thirdly, we're having a look of trees of the same species, always. I'm just giving you the roundabout. Same species. You've got to make sure that if you want to see where the water is getting sucked up, we have to have an indicator. We have to have something that stains. Because no matter how much pure water you're putting in that glass, it's going to suck it up and it's going to let it go. And how are you going to notice which tissue took it? Okay? You've got to somehow stain that thing or stain those tissue. So use something that can stain the plant. Right? And you can have a look at it quite carefully. If you put in stuff, it'll suck up. Okay? That's what we're looking for. Plain, simple things. Okay? Now, my mind's gone blank for 2 seconds. So I'm going to make sure that when we get back that I've got that disease for you, which somehow has just gone out of my head. And straight after the break, I will give it to you. Ta.
All right. So, mindset is, while Lou gets the blood getting back to his brain, yes, we actually finally got that answer. It's osteoporosis. 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 No, it's osteoporosis.
Clever.
While I get that out of my mouth eventually, make sure that you guys stay tuned. We'll catch you after this break. And welcome back, Mindsetters. Now, as you've seen on the page, and I just want to say congratulations to all you Mindsetters who've been working frantically for us to get to the next level. We have unlocked that next level. So, in unlocking that next level, we have got another draw to do. So make sure, Mindsetters, if you want to win, share responsibly. Otherwise, if you don't share responsibly and you just keep spamming people, that is a bad thing because it will probably close our page. And we do not want that to happen now, do we? But yes, Mindsetters, I just want to say congratulations to everybody who's been sharing, and welcome to all those people who've joined us now. It's a pleasure to have you, and hopefully we can keep you on and join us for the duration of forever. So, I'm going to ask Lou to come over, who's going to actually help me draw this. You know, the same draw, you're going to swish around in there and find the winner, okay? There we go. There we go. Okay, and then we just need to pick one name.
There we go.
Alrighty. And the winner is Amantle Anli Sitena. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but congratulations, you get this awesome tab going to be sent to you. So make sure you post, talk to us. And for the winner, make sure you post to our website, to our help desk. I'm losing it. Help desk at learnextra.co.za or win at learnextra.co.za. And you can have this awesome thing sent to you. Or messages. That also helps. So yes, we still have a session to do. And don't forget, we'll be posting Curio up here as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the page. That is a mouthful. Now, moving right along. Lou, take it away.
Thanks. Now, you noticed that the minute we moved over to Ta, I could whisper to him or tell him what the word was. Now, you must understand, this happens in an exam. And it's actually a very good thing that it actually happened to me, because you will notice how I moved on. I didn't stick there and go, come on, give it to me, give it to me. You move on, and it will come to you. So chill, relax, it'll come to you. It'll always come. Okay, so that was osteoporosis. Okay, osteoporosis, osteocytes help make bone. And if the bones, if those things don't start making bones, the calcium gets used in your muscles, they start taking calcium out of your bones, and it becomes very porous. Okay, osteoporosis. So hopefully you weren't as stressed as I was, because the more you stress, you can't think of the word, the worse it becomes. Okay, now let's have a look at this. I'm very impressed with all the people watching, so keep it up and let it go. We need all those prizes, and we need to go as far as we can. Now, let's have a look at the next one. It's still the same question, okay? Still the same things, and let's go down. Did the person use a monocotyledonous plant or a dicotyledonous plant? Now, let's have a look at the picture, okay? Well, I can. I'm going to have a look at the plant itself. I'm not going to look at these two things. I'm going to look at the plant. Now, when you look at monocots and dicots, you look at two things. It's the quickest way to show you, the quickest way. First of all, you have a look at the roots, and second of all, you have a look at the leaves, always, okay? A monocot leaf has always got a parallel venation, right? And a diacot has always got a net venation. Can you see it looks like a net? Let me show you what a parallel one looks like. It does this, round about, and all the veins run parallel to each other, okay? All of them, they don't mix up, they just run parallel to each other. That is what a parallel venation looks like, and that is what a net venation looks like. So first thing we can say is there's a net venation on the leaves, and second of all, we have a taproot system. Not adventitious, we have tap. Adventitious is small, round roots all over the place, and a taproot system, look at the big, thick taproot going down. Taproot. They are the two things we look at, and it proves it that it's a diacot, not a monocot. Okay, now, next question. Okay, it says, describe external features, support your answers, as I was supporting them, telling you which is a diacot, which is a monocot. Now, next question's over here. Why was this thing here? What is this? Eosin. What is that? Now, eosin is something that you would think to yourself, hello, that's like German or whatever. It's just a sort of word I don't know about. Now, eosin is, if you have a look at right in the beginning, let's see, they must have put here, eosin, have to. Let's just have a look if they haven't. Now, what do you think eosin is? Okay, eosin, it's very simple, just by looking at the experiment. What do we want to prove? How water travels from the bottom all the way to the top. What is eosin? Why would I put eosin in there? I need to prove that water moved from there to there, and which tissue. Think about it. It is a type of dye. It's called an indicator. It indicates where the water's gone to. So as it's moving up through the inside of the plant, it's making those cells that take the water nice and dark. So what is it for? It is to indicate. It's an indicator. It stains. So when we put this plant under the microscope, what are we going to see? The parts where it went through is going to have a lot of the stain. We can prove which of the tissues actually transports water. Okay, that is what eosin is. You could actually use quite a few things, like a lot of people use dye. Like your normal, you know, your cake dyes and all of that? Some of the people use that, and you can actually see it. Looks quite nice. Now, let's go to the next one. Very simple. Same question, okay? Now it gets a little bit intense. It says, which tissue was stained? Come on. This, no matter how you look at it, there's no color. What tissue transports water? Very simple. It's one of the biggest tissues you've got to remember, okay? It's in the vascular bundle, okay? It's part of the transport. The other one transports food, the other one transports water. We're looking at water, so it's got to be the xylem. Phloem, food. Xylem is water. Okay, so which tissue was stained? It has to be the xylem tissues that are stained. Very nice. Very easy. They're simple questions, even though they sound difficult. Next one. Match diagram 1 and diagram 2 correctly to the parts, the plants A and B. Sorry, I'm going mad today. I just want to get to the questions and answer them. So let's have a look. Diagram 1 is on the top. Diagram 2 is at the bottom. Diagram A, diagram B. Now, if you have a look at it, there's the two. Which one out of the two is a root? Which one is a stem? Okay, very simple. Have a look at this. I have never in my life seen a stem with little things coming out the sides of it. Okay, yes, you do get, I'm not talking about branches. Look at this. This here, if I could zoom it in, if you look at this carefully, it actually looks like this. Okay, it does this. Okay. Which means this little thing coming out here is a single cell. Okay? These little things coming out. And it's a modified cell, which means it's a hair. So it is a root hair. It's a root hair. It's already given it away. Root hair. So diagram 1 goes with B. And this here, if you have a look at it, okay, this is the stem. If that one goes with B, if one goes with B, diagram 2 has to go with A. Diagram 2 is A. So don't worry. Find one, the other one will make a plan. Now, I didn't explain why diagram 2 went with A, but I'm telling you now, they will never just leave it hanging there. They will ask you, let me just get to the next question. They will ask you, still the same thing, has to come. Tabulate any 3 observation of the plants which are different. So let's have a look at it. Let's tabulate. Tabulate. Wait, I need to say this. Tabulate. Where's it? There. Tabulate. It's a big thing. Guys, if they say tabulate and you don't tabulate, you write it down, they can give you naught. Okay? Then you could just as well have put it on the desk because it's pointless. You haven't answered the question. Tabulate means put it in this thing over here, in a table. Okay, means you got to put it in a table. So now, let's have a look at it. When we have a look at the difference between diagram 1 and diagram 2, we're going to have a look at specific things. First thing that we've got to have a look at, okay, it's the obvious thing over here. This one has root hairs. This one doesn't. Does it? No root hairs. So, let's put it in here. Okay, which is this one? This is the stem. So it's no root hairs. Write it down in full. No root hairs. And the second one has root hairs. Okay. No root hairs, has root hairs. Hopefully that you're getting it. Let's have a look at it again. Okay. This is the in part. We learnt about what a root is, what's the difference between monocots and dicot roots, what's the difference between monocot stems and dicot stems. And if you have a look at this, the dicot stem, right, here it is. This thing here contains the transporting things. So you've got your xylem and you've got your phloem tissues in this, okay? This thing here is found all over the stem. And if you can remember, if your stem looked like that, you would get these things that does this all evenly right around the plant, okay, so that they're nice and even. That is called vascular bundles, okay? The vascular bundles are in a circle, and in actual fact, at one stage, we're going to look at this thing called secondary thickening, and they all get that tissue, the meristematic tissue, right around it to make new cells, xylem and phloem cells, right? So that's what that looks like, and there's the meristematic tissue, right, in between it. Okay, can you all see it? Okay, now the root has something completely different. The root has a thing called the stele, okay? And the stele is found right in the middle. Have a look at it. There's the stele. Can you see it? There's the stele in the middle. Do they look similar? Look at the difference. Okay, the stele is in the middle. A stele is in the root, okay? And the vascular bundles are in a stem. So let's put that down. Okay, here we go. This is, let me just have a look again. This is the stem. So the stem has vascular bundles. Write it in. Has vascular bundles. And of course, your root has a stele. Okay, your root has a stele. It's a middle piece, that cross in the middle. Stele. And your root, your stem has a vascular bundles. Okay, your vascular tissues are in your vascular bundles. Now let's look at the last thing. The last difference between the two. Okay, can you see? Try this out. Look carefully. We've learnt about things called epidermis and endodermis. Epidermis is the outside, endodermis is the inside. Now, this has, look at this. You can see that this tissue there is completely different to this tissue here. Can you see it? You can actually see that there's a line running right across here. Okay? It's got a line right across there. Okay? So don't forget, this one, you cannot see it. Okay? So, there we go. There's no, because it's a stem, there's no, please make sure you're writing this as I'm talking so we can go through it. There's no visible endodermis. Okay? And there is a visible difference between the endodermis. Okay, there is a visible difference of endodermis. Has no visible endodermis, has a visible endodermis. Okay, and let's see. Make sure we can sort it out. I just want to finish this one so that we can actually get there. What was the possible conclusion for this experiment? That xylem transports water from the roots all the way to the tip. Right, so that is the visible difference. That is what this experiment was all about. Okay, so guys, hope I've helped you out, right? And have a good time, study hard, and I'll speak to you soon, or I'll see you soon, hopefully. Keep working hard and let us know about those questions. Ta.
All right, so mindsetters, I hope you had a blast. Team Work Smart, thank you so much for guys working so hard to get to the next level. I just want to say shout out to my mindsetters of the day, Monty, Diff, Kelvin, Morris. I also want to say shout out to Kashifa. Thank you guys for posting so much on the page. You guys have been awesome today. And don't forget, Life Science for Matrix is going to be tomorrow. So guys, work smart, team work smart, but we'll see you next time. Cheers.